Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey, and today I'd like to take a look at this guy right here, CATAN Histories, The Settlers of America. Now, as you may already know, I'm a big fan of Catan Geography's Germany. I really enjoyed it. This one, however, comes in the Catan Histories line, in which the struggle for Rome and merchants of Europe also reside. So, this is kind of a different line for Catan, but it has the same idea of taking the basic construct of Catan and throwing a little twist in there, or a few twists in there. So basically, let's take a look at it and see what you think. Now, the basic way to win the game of Settlers of America is to have delivered all of your goods cubes. That's what these little guys are. They're good cubes. You have one that's ready to go right now, but then these have to be unlocked by building new cities. And new cities are formed by sending out settlers in their covered wagons to settle down in these new cities and start building out those new cities. Generally speaking, just like in regular Catan, the active player is going to roll, and that number that he rolls will generate resources for all of the people who have cities next to that number. So, for example, if an 8 is rolled, white, blue, and orange would generate 1 lumber for themselves. If, for example, blue had 2 here, then he would generate 2 lumber for that. So that is the general gist of building or having your regions produce resources, and now you have to take those resources and build these different things to accomplish the end of delivering all of your good cubes to different cities. The challenge with delivering all of these cubes is that, first of all, you cannot deliver them to your town. And once a cube is in a town as being delivered there, no other good can be delivered there. So, as you can probably imagine, the number of spaces that you can deliver a good cube to will diminish rather quickly. There is an outlaw that mirrors the robber, or in basic Catan, and he moves around the board the same way that in regular Catan. If a 7 is rolled of any combination on the dice, the person who rolled it takes him and can place him somewhere on the board where he will block production from that site, and then he can steal a resource randomly from either one of these players that is on there. But only one resource can be stolen from one player, not one from all 3. This 3-player game, red, white, and blue, are the active players. And so it is played, for example, very similarly to regular Catan. We roll, a 6 is rolled, so orange will not actually produce anything here, but red gets an ore, and white also gets an ore from that. Gold is used in this phase. You can purchase any resource that you want for 2 gold. And you can also only do that 2 times in one turn. If I want to build, for example, a rail, I have to have a ore and a lumber. I don't have any lumber, so I'll use 2 gold to purchase a lumber, and then I will use that ore and the lumber to place a rail somewhere on the board. For example, I could go like this. Then, if I wanted to, I could use 1 coal to move my train from 1 to 3 spaces. So I'll move him 1, then he will take this good that I have ready for delivery and place it right there. Again, delivering all your goods is what will win you to the game, not building all of your cities. However, you have to build your cities in order to free a good to be shipped. I have 2 wheat left. I could seek to try to trade with somebody else, but I'm not going to do that this early in the game. We're going to go ahead and pass to the white player. White player rolls and rolls a 9. So all of the 9 resources will generate goods. So blue gets a wheat, like they needed any more of that. Red here gets a cattle. And then any other 9s out there. White would also get a cattle. So then white would be able to take their cards, and white will use 2 gold to purchase a lumber, use that lumber and that to build a rail. That rail is going to go here. At the end of each phase, at the end of each player's turn, starting with the player to their left, after they're finished with everything that they want to do, each player has a chance to build something during their turn, whether it's building a new train to put on the board, or to build a settler to put on the board so that they then can move it later on, or build another rail on the board, something to that effect. They would be able to do that on that person's turn. But you just cannot move or do anything like that. And you can also not trade during that phase at the end of each player's turn. One thing that I also did not mention here is that whenever you build into a previously disconnected city, you can build whether it is empty or it contains another player's city marker. You can build an adjacent one on the other side of that city. So when red connected here, they could have also placed here or here. So we'll just go ahead and put that there, denoting that they chose to do that. On future turns, when a railway is connected to an undiscovered city, that track will generate gold for the person who built it. And so you would determine what is the closest trail or track to the nearest city, and then you would get gold for that. So in this instance, red would get 3 gold because they connected to what will soon be known as Wichita, even though it hasn't actually been created yet. So here, red would have gotten 3 more gold for having connected to a previously disconnected city. Now, it is possible for other players to share in that gold process. For example, if white had placed roads like this, then the closest city would actually be Little Rock, which means then that red would get 1 gold and white would get 1 gold. Settlers are able to move by using wheat or food. And for every wheat that a person would use from their hand, their settler could move anywhere from 1 to 3 spaces. So in order to move the 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces that is necessary, he would have to use 2 wheat. But in that case, the settler would move here. Automatically, this would happen at no additional charge. The settler would come back to your tableau here. And then this good that is here is released and can now be delivered. Now that might seem a little convoluted, building track and placing things, but you don't have to move settlers along track. They can move from intersection to intersection, no problem whatsoever. They can move 1 to 3 intersections with 1 food. All right, so if you pay, say, 3 food, you can move a settler 9 up to 9 spaces. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and build in a rapid city. Okay, so that would allow you to place one of your cities there. And now, if 6, 11, or, ooh, what's that? Okay, well, the double question mark is whenever someone builds adjacent to a double question mark area, they have to take the easternmost circle tile, number tile, and place it over that double question mark area. So one thing to keep in mind throughout the course of the game is that these guys right here are going to be going away, which means that these houses are going to be producing less, or these cities are going to be producing less over the course of the game. Now, you do not have to move only on your track. You can also, for example, if we go back and say that white did have this here, red could then pay 1 coal and go 1, 2, 3 and deliver this here. But if he were to do that, he would have to pay 1 gold to white in order to use that link. The use of development cards will also help you in your quest for ultimately delivering all of your goods. They can do a number of different things. For example, this one says native support. You select the number of your choice on the sides of the dice. So you can choose, if you have this development card and you play it from your hand, you can choose what regions will produce. The cavalry, you can move the outlaw and take 2 gold from the supply. Take 1 random resource from 1 city adjacent to the outlaw. So again, this is kind of like the militia or the mercenaries in regular Catan or the other versions of Catan. You could, it's very similar to that, with the caveat that you also get 2 gold at the same spot. A scout, you can move 1 settler up to 5 intersections, or take 3 gold. So that's something you can do. Right of way lets you move 1 of your trains 5 rails for free, and you don't have to pay for right of way, which means this thing here where I had to pay white 1 gold, if I had moved on that track using this card, I would not have had to pay them. Development cards also are purchased with resources, but they can be a very great help in accomplishing that final goal of being able to deliver all of your goods. And so that is CATAN Histories, the Settlers of America. Now, as you may have already known, I was not looking forward to this one at all. Actually, let me change that a little bit. I was actually, when I first heard that they were coming out with the Settlers of America, I was very interested in it because I really enjoyed Catan Geographies Germany, and I was expecting that level of production, that level of ideas in an American setting. And that's just not what happened. First of all, the components are exactly what you would expect from a Catan game. They come with nice chunky wooden pieces in the shapes of what they're supposed to represent, the basic shapes. The cards are all pretty much basically the same. The resources and what you can use them for are pretty much the same. There's a couple differences. I mean, cattle and coal are in this one, being things that I guess America has been known for producing. Second, first of all, I've said many times that I'm burnt out on Catan, regular Catan, basic vanilla Catan. I'm burnt out on it. I probably won't ever play it again, just because I played it so much when it first came out. And I guess you could say, without trying to sound snooty or anything, I've moved on to better things, and not necessarily better Catan-like things, just better games in general. That's just my opinion. So don't hit me up on the comments section about that. With this one, I was disappointed a little bit because I felt like it was too generalistic with the American theme. I don't know, it just felt like to me the American theme edition fell flat. Yes, we were settling things, but a lot of different places have settling and that type of stuff. See, with Catan Geographies Germany, we were building all of those national landmarks, and all of those national landmarks were plastic models and good-looking models, and that just made the game pop. And the roads were plastic roads, and the houses were nice little German villa-type houses, and there was just so much there that they went really good. They did really well in pushing the German theme for Catan Geographies Germany. And I think it just fell flat for Settlers of America. So next, the whole idea of adding a pick up and deliver mechanism to Settlers of Catan, for me, that's just adding complexity where complexity is not needed. I'm just not in on it. I don't like that. It's too much Euro in an already Euro game. And that's one of the things, that's one of the catchphrases I guess I'll use. They took a Euro game and they made it even more Euro. Prolongs the game, makes the game a little bit too complex for my tastes, for what Catan is supposed to be, in my opinion. So I was not feeling the whole pick up and deliver aspect here. So all in all, what I'm really saying here is I've got Catan Geographies Germany, so I'm not going to need Settlers of America. I'm just not going to need it. And I almost feel unpatriotic saying that, but it's just the way it is. This went in a different direction than I wanted to go with Catan, whereas Starfarers of Catan and Catan Geographies Germany are more along my vein of enjoyment. With Catan Geographies Germany, I gave that a 7 because I was really impressed with all of the components, all of the plastic pieces that came with it, and how neat the molds were with which they were made. With the Settlers of America, though, the CATAN Histories, I'm probably going to have to go down to a 6. Again, I think they took a step backwards as far as using the wooden components over the plastic ones. And again, not that the wooden components are bad, I just like them less than the plastic components that Catan Geographies came with. So, with all of that being said, I think Settlers of America is a good game. It's a decent version of Catan. It's, I think, way better than regular Catan, but it's just not as good as Catan Geographies Germany or Starfarers, in my opinion. So it's below that rung. Like I said, a 5.5 to a 6 for me. It has a lot of decent mechanics. I think a lot of people will enjoy it. I'm just going to prefer Catan Geographies or Starfarers over this one. So that's CATAN Histories, the Settlers of America. See you on the flip side, folks.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.